Welcome back to Session 0, where I mostly discuss Dungeon World. I haven't posted any videos lately here or on my other channel because I've been replaying The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. At the time of this recording, I've spent a little over 140 hours with the game, and that sparked some fun ideas for the table. Today, I want to talk about war. First, I want to say that I'm definitely not making a case for actual, real-world war. History is full of actual, terrible accounts of war and its atrocities and consequences, and I'm neither equipped nor qualified to delve into them. This video is strictly about war in tabletop RPGs. Second, I published some rules for mass combat a few years ago in Session 07, Halo, Fang, and Horn, linked in the description, but that's not what this video is about either. This video is about using war, both as a player and a GM, to enhance your game. And to do that, we need a basic understanding of war. So, what is war? At its most basic, war is conflict. And conflict is the essence of dramatic storytelling. So, at least when we're talking about role-playing games, war is the essence of dramatic storytelling. I'll start by listing all of the things which are a result of war as seen in The Witcher 3. If you're a player, think about each of these through the lens of a character you might play. As a GM, think about these in the context of the world the characters inhabit. At the very top of the list is inter-party conflict. Player characters can hail from opposite countries in a war, which might cause party conflict. Remember though that this is fictional. Don't let character animosity bleed into player animosity, and I say that as someone who has failed to do so. A tip I have to avoid this is to encourage your players to turn this animosity into bonds during character creation. This will gamify the animosity and provide a natural mechanism for resolving it. Next is borders. Characters may have to physically cross borders controlled by one army or the other, or find ways through or around them. This can be a lot of fun as characters make NPC contacts on both sides of the conflict, or wish to test their stealth skills. Politics is an obvious part of war, but you can choose not to engage with it. Some people really enjoy a political game and others don't. So make sure you cover it in Session 0 to know what your players think of it. Bandits come in next, and I'll refer back to them a couple times down the line. Bandits can be the result of a power vacuum after soldiers have marched through an area, or they can be deserters from either side of the war, defenders or invaders, who feel banditry is easier than following orders. Along those same lines, soldiers can be very similar to bandits. They just follow the orders of their commanders. Alright, the next three more or less work together: hunger, refugees, and orphans. Hunger can be the result of an army or bandit activity which is either confiscated food for their ranks, or destroyed foods and livestock to deny it to the other side. This leads to refugees, who have had everything taken from them and are leaving or attempting to leave the country. How are refugees treated at the various borders in your world? Are they welcomed? Turned away? Orphans are sadly another aspect of war. Parents were either conscripted into service, killed by the invading army, or even lived through it but succumbed to bandits. Maybe there just wasn't enough food and the parents starved while making sure their children were fed, or, more tragically, abandoned their children because they couldn't feed them. Be careful how you handle orphans in your games though, and make sure it's something covered in Session 0. When using safety tools, specifically lines and veils in my games, I always start with a veil for harm against children. It's something that might be mentioned, and I think war is definitely a setting where such a thing may come up, but never directly seen. But if a player wants to make a line, i.e. a line that's not to be crossed, then don't even mention that more tragic option. I think players often gravitate towards playing an orphan for various reasons, which is totally fine, and I think war gives an excellent natural reason for this, especially if it's a very long war. But orphans can provide hooks for further adventures and quests as well, so players don't have to be orphans just to merit their inclusion. The last element on my list is monsters. Ghouls gravitate towards battlefields to eat the dead. Gargoyles and elementals might be used to guard important buildings or positions. Vampires might hunt freely at night because death is everywhere. One more corpse won't even be noticed. Ghosts, wraiths, and specters haunt the places where soldiers, bandits, or lords cause them terrible pain or injustice at death. Finally, I want to say that the reason I love Dungeon World specifically, and Powered by the Apocalypse games in general, is that failure adds to the conflict in better ways than you'll see in traditional games. In D&D, for example, a failed roll typically just feels bad. You missed a hit, and now you have to wait until your turn comes back around to try again. In Dungeon World, missing a hack and slash roll has immediate consequences, i.e. adds to the conflict, and you gain experience from it. For this reason, I think war can add much more to your Dungeon World game than a mere backdrop. War gives your Dungeon World character a lot to think about. Think about using some of these aspects during character creation to help the GM fill out the world. Maybe your family made it to the border, but you were conscripted into service and separated from your spouse and children. Maybe magic users are hunted by the king's agents, and you're a wizard, but you've painstakingly hidden that from the world. Should it be revealed, well, bad things might happen. Do you tell your fellow characters that you're a wizard? Maybe you make a living killing the monsters which follow war, or were tasked with burying the dead before the ghouls arrived, or escaped the clutches of a vampire. Let me know in the comments what you think and what I missed. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.